How to get hired in car sales. I'm going to give you a step-by-step guide on what to do if you are thinking about applying for a dealership or getting into the sales industry and you don't know what to do and you're about to go into the interview and you're pretty much scared out of your butt because you don't know how to answer the questions or how to get the job. So there's a few things you're going to need to take into account. Step one, when you go into the interview, you're going to have to look the part, okay? This is just before they even talk to you. Before they even say hi to you, they are going to look out. They're going to kind of look at you. First impression is everything. So you have to dress the part. I would highly suggest dressing business. You don't have to wear a tie. You don't have to wear a bow tie. Think of it as you're going to a formal event. I would get a haircut, brush your teeth, clip your nails. Your hygiene is really important. Make sure you look your best. All right? Because the first impression is everything. They're gonna look out, and if you're wearing just baggy clothes, it looks like you just done the lawn and your shoes are all dirty. I mean, and you're in an establishment where you're selling really expensive items. What do you think they're gonna think of you? I mean, every time I have seen someone come in for an interview and they're wearing, they're kind of slouched over, and their hair's all messy and their pants are kind of baggy and they're wearing like a flannel or whatever. They never get hired. But whenever you see someone come in and they're dressed to the nines, they're wearing a suit, you don't necessarily have to wear a tie. You got your blazer on, you have your dress shoes, it's fitted well, you got gel in your hair, you smell good, you look good, you're sharp, and which, by the way, when you dress like that, it makes you feel good. You have to look people in the eye and give handshakes, introduce yourself, say hello, my name's Josh. And just be honest. I've never been in sales before, but heck, I'm going to give it a go. When you're in the interview, you want to say things like, I've never been in sales before, but I am, I'm willing to grow. I have a growth mindset. I know you have a leaderboard. I want to be at the top of that leaderboard. I want to strive to be the best. I don't want to just come in here and make money and leave right away. I honestly, I want to move up in the ranks. I want to move up to be in finance or be a manager. I have an extreme drive, and I really, really, I want to be the best one here. I want to be at the top of your leaderboard. And if I don't know something, I will learn. I will figure out how to learn. I'm willing to self-educate. All right. Whether or not you do trainings or not, I'm willing to self-educate and grow every single day to overcome objections and really learn the industry. And I have a family to provide for. And just be honest, even if you don't have a family, you can just tell them I've rent to pay, I have bills, and I want to be really successful in life. I want to move up and make a lot of money. And so on to the next thing. One thing you're really going to want to say is that you're extremely, extremely coachable. You're extremely coachable. And say, look, listen, if you haven't been in sales before, say, look, I haven't been in sales before, but I have been known to be extremely coachable and catch on to what my managers and my leadership is telling me and grow and move up in the ranks and do extremely well in whatever industry I'm in. One of my goals is to be a needle mover. Next thing is you're going to want to be extremely confident. When you go in, you have to be 100% sold on yourself. You have to go in, and sometimes you can even be underqualified. And if you're completely sold on yourself, sometimes I'll just be like, shoot, I don't even have to look for anyone else. You're hired. This is it. This is all I have to, this is the last person I'm gonna have to interview today. So if you're completely sold on yourself and confident in what you're saying, and you're speaking with authority, you can get so good at that seals the deal right there. If you go in, you're not confident and you're not sold on yourself, and you're not speaking with confidence in what you're saying, and you think that you're a fraud pretty much, and they're gonna look at you like you might be faking it. But if you go in and you're extremely convicted in what you're saying, for example, like a drill sergeant, you can imagine speaking to a drill sergeant and what conviction they have over their voice when they're talking, and they're confident. When you come across like that, it's a home run. And at the same time, when you're talking with conviction, if you can be a good storyteller at the same time, if they ask you questions on maybe if they look at your resume and they're like, well, it looks like you've been kind of skipping around jobs a little bit, what's going on here? And you can just tell them look, I tried to go back to this job, but maybe they had a hiring freeze. and this happened, and this happened. So I'm like, what the heck, dude? I gotta start. Like, I'm just telling you based off of my experience. This is kind of what I had said. This might not be your story, but basically what my boss had asked me is, look, I see these job hoppings. Like, what's going on? And I was like, well, I tried to go back to this job because I wasn't making any money at this other job. So I was like, what the heck? I'm broke. I gotta make some money. So then I tried to go back to the job I had 2 jobs ago, and then they had a hiring freeze. So now I'm like, well, shoot, the current position I'm in, I'm not making any money. Like, what do I do? And then I looked up online. I met some people. This car I'm sitting in is like really hot. Yeah, I met some people, and I was watching YouTube videos on like you can make really good money in the car industry, and when you move up, you can make it a career, a long-term career. And so that's why I'm here, basically. And it's close to home. I'm really confident I could be at the top of your leaderboard. I'm extremely motivated to move forward. Now, these tips, by the way, they kind of go across the board with all the jobs. You know, extremely coachable. That you're willing to adapt, you're willing to learn, self-educate, you're willing to move up the ranks to be a top performer, be a needle mover, get the results to where they need it to be. You're the guy to do that. The second one is be extremely confident. So those things, I would say, are like the huge things that they're looking for, okay, when they are actually interviewing you. And eye contact, you dress nice, be extremely confident, smile, handshake, just be confident in your own skin. I'm an introvert, just to be completely honest with you. I really don't like talking to people, but you're in sales. So you have to learn to like it, and you have to push yourself outside of your comfort zone. So think of it as you're putting on an act. As soon as you walk into the dealership or that sales environment, and you're going to go interview, and you're going to go to that manager or hiring manager, whoever it is, you have to go in with the mentality of maybe you're 100% self, but you're a little bit turned up. Your enthusiasm is a little bit more. You're a little bit more outspoken, and you're smiling, and you're making jokes, and don't be too uptight either. I mean, it's not too formal. Don't say, yes, sir. Okay. Yes, I'll do this for you. Just be relaxed, laid back, just let it roll. Say what comes to your mind for the most part. If you can just make lighthearted jokes and just be relaxed and just be yourself and be honest, but really portray the fact that you're going to be a needle mover, and you're really going to push to be at the top of the leaderboard. At the end, they're going to ask you, so do you have any questions for me? And one thing that I have asked in probably the past 2 or 3 jobs, I've asked this all the time, and it's resulted in some pretty good answers from the hiring manager. So what I will ask, and if you have a pen and paper, take some notes or remember this, save this for later, is if they say, so do you have any questions for me? Say, yeah, I actually do. So when it comes to your top performer and your bottom performer, what's the difference between what the top performer does to be at the top versus what the bottom performer does to be at the bottom? What's that difference? And what do I have to emulate, or what do I have to do to be able to emulate that top person to be at the top? Because that's where I want to be. So kind of walk me through the difference on what that looks like. And then I'll walk you through, like, yeah, the top person is always making phone calls, is always talking to people, is always doing this, doing that, looking for different opportunities to sell. And maybe they'll say that the bottom person doesn't really, they're kind of unmotivated a little bit. I mean, they make their sales to keep their job, but it's not, that click isn't there, that drive isn't there. That's one thing I would ask them if they ask you, do you have any questions for them at the end? You could always ask, like, what is one thing that would hold you back from hiring me? As a second question, possibly, if you want to ask that. And then maybe they'll say, no, I think you're good. You're a good candidate. I mean, we'll get back to you. Or after you ask that question, you could always say, like, what is one thing that would that would hold you back from hiring me? And is there anything I could do to change your mind, or change that aspect of whatever's holding you back from hiring me? Can I change that? Like I said, I'm extremely coachable, and I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to adapt. So whatever it is, whatever you see in me right now, I'm willing to change. 100%. I can learn and grow, and I want to move up the ranks. This is what I'm here for. Another thing, and specifically in the automotive industry, they might ask about phone calls. I remember the first dealership I was at, they asked about phone calls. He said, how many phone calls are you comfortable with making a day? And I was like, however many you need me to. I said I was making about 40 phone calls a day in my last job. I wasn't selling cars at the time. This was my first car sales position. So at the first dealership I went to, he asked me, so how many phone calls you make a day? I said 40-ish, something like that. He said, all right, cool. And then he asked me, take me through what you say on the phone when they answer. He said, ring, ring, ring. I said, hello, this is Josh. And I kind of went through typically what I say when I'm calling like a cold lead or a warm lead or something like that to try to set an appointment. Again, I said I'm extremely coachable. So whatever it is I have to learn, I'm not hard-headed. I'm like a chameleon. I can adapt to different things. Word tracks I need to learn, like I can learn it. I haven't done this for too long, but I can learn it. I can learn. And so when I think when you hit those marks and they look at you as a really, really valuable asset, that is maybe someone who doesn't really know sales that much, but who is super confident and convicted. And I mean, you go in there knowing 100% fact. You're going to be at the top of the leaderboard, and you're going to push, and you're going to take the coaching from them to be able to do that. Then that's it. It's a wrap. They're going to hire you. So I hope this helped. If you have any questions, please leave it in the comment section below. I think you'll probably see a video on the left or right that I think you'll like. So probably some more to this that I'm missing. If I think of anything else, I'll leave it in the comment section below. If you have any questions, let me know.